All right. Today on State of Mind, and if you like what you see, please listen. Now we're climbing up. And after today, we're going to be, woo! Uh, so subscribe, hit that little button down in here, okay? So today I have someone who's very talented. She's an author of children's books. And she's part of a huge couple on that little show, General Hospital. You see how that rhymed? Okay. And it's cool to have her. She looks, her outfit is unbelievable. I'm not kidding. I just love it. It's like in the 60s, you know. And she's part of Sprina. You guys know what Sprina is. And her name is Tabyana Ali.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, yeah. I'm learning my Spanish.
All right. What does Tabyana mean?
So Tabyana, I have no idea what it means, but it's an island in Honduras. And my mom went there when just as a vacation, and she's like, if I ever have another daughter, I would name her Tabyana. And then I came as a surprise.
Really?
Yeah. I was a surprise baby. Yeah.
My son was a surprise baby because I thought I was going to have 3 girls.
Oh, really?
And then last minute it was a boy.
A boy,
So
yeah.
it was kind of cool. Yeah. You know, I looked Tabyana up.
Oh, did you? You found a definition?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Fairy queen.
You're lying.
No, I'm dead serious.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
They have a definition for my name now?
Fairy queen.
I've literally, and I feel like I love fairies.
But I couldn't find it everywhere. Yeah. Only 2 specific places that said that, and then other things, it was just whatever.
That is so immaculate. I feel like I've been trying to make up meanings just to, whatever. But I've looked up my name so many times that I've never found a definition.
Yeah.
So
I'll send it to you.
Yes, please do.
I'll send it to you.
Wow. Thank
you. My name doesn't mean anything.
Maurice.
No, my real name is Mauricio Jose Morales.
That's elegant.
Yes, wow. But at the time, I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
I went up for a music video where they needed an Italian for Santana. Well, the members of Santana. You know who Santana is?
I've heard of Santana.
Wow. So when you're young, it's Santana. Santana was a huge group back then. They sing, Oye, como va.
Oh, yeah.
Mi ritmo. Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
And Black Magic Woman and stuff like that. So the producer didn't want to hire me because he thought he doesn't want to hire a Spanish guy.
Right.
Because the role was Italian. And I read for it. This is my first thing I ever read for when I was like 21. And they liked me, the guys from Santana. And it had to take a phone call to a big promoter named Bill Graham for them to tell the producer, I don't care what you think. He looks Italian. And we're going to hire him. And I did the video for MTV.
I mean, they're right. I thought you were Italian.
You see? I'm full-blooded Spanish.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, full-blooded.
Wow, that's beautiful.
But I've been playing Italian for 30 years.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks I'm Italian.
You're right, yeah.
And even Sonny is half Cuban, half Greek.
Oh.
Not even Italian.
Wow.
But I didn't care about that because they told me he was half Cuban, half Greek after about a year and a half. So I'm like, he's Italian.
Okay. You're like, all right, Italian.
So where you grew up? San Antonio, Texas, right?
Yes, I grew up, born and raised San Antonio, Texas, the youngest of 6, my mom and I, my dad as well. And I did most of my living out there.
How was it out there?
You know what?
I like it out there.
I love San
My
Antonio.
wife's from Houston.
Yeah, San Antonio. San Antonio is a very diverse area, city. And there's a lot of culture there. But where I grew up, I was kind of like the only black kid, the only black girl, I was the only black kid in my schools. And I grew up with predominantly mostly Hispanic and white people, Caucasian people. And so we always joked like we're the blackish family.
Yeah.
But
did you feel like out of place, or was it because when you're Spanish, it's just, was there like racism back then or anything?
Oh yeah, I think my first set of racism when I was 5, but I didn't really know, like I didn't really acknowledge it. I don't think I comprehended racism like that. Like I knew I was different, but I didn't really care.
Wow, that's great.
I was that little, I've always been like a small, feisty, funny kid. So I think, I didn't let anybody really push over on me like that.
Yeah.
And they tried, but I was kind of.
I think you have to be.
Yeah, you kind of do. You kind of grow that thick skin when you're in an environment like that. I mean, it's not like everybody was like. Bullying me or whatever. I might have gotten teased a little bit, but I would come back around and be like, say something if you want to. No, think these hands are gonna be catched, you know? So I kind of made my way. I was kind of like the popular kid after a while, and I had a lot of friends and people knew me. So it wasn't like a hard,
like you see in the movies.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Not at all. Not for me.
It's funny because I don't think I've ever talked about this as far as feeling racism or whatever. But when one time I was in a bowling alley, and I walk out, and this cop comes out and starts harassing me because he thought I stole a purse. And I never stole anything in my life. Yeah. Another time, and I'm not bad-mouthing cops or anything, but this is just what happened to me. Because I'm Spanish or whatever it is that I look like. Yeah. Whether it's edgy or whatever. Another time a cop was going to arrest me because I didn't have my license, and I wasn't even driving the car. He's harassing me, right? Yeah. Another time, somebody thought I ripped off a jacket. But, it's like... It didn't feel good. Yeah. Didn't feel good. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying, it's...
Yeah, no, I mean, because I think those types of situations didn't really set into me until I was like 13. Ah. And I had this lady, I went to Ulta Beauty, and it was my mom and I was just coming from like an audition or something like that, and I was here in California. And I was just kind of like looking around and browsing through the aisles, and I could see out of the peripheral of my vision that there was somebody following me, and only little black girl in that store, but there was another set of group of kids that were probably being louder and more rambunctious than I was. So I was just kind of like, why is this lady following me? And I was kind of making sure first that she was following me before I said anything to my mother. So I would just like cut a corner, or keep walking straight and then cut another corner and see what she would do, and she just kept following me. And then eventually I went to go get my mother, and I was like, this woman, I don't know what she wants, but she thinks something's up. So my mom went up to the front desk, and she's like, this lady keeps following my daughter. And when we tried to go confront her about it, she went to the back of the room of the Ulta Beauty, and we didn't see her again. But that was kind of like my first time. I was like, wow.
You kind of question things, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I look any different from those other kids. Like I had on just like a little flannel, my jeans, a white shirt or whatever. And I was like, why am I any different from them right now? Like, what's the difference? And really, they're probably being more loud than I am. I'm not even doing anything. I'm just looking.
Exactly.
So it was an interesting experience. And I think that's when I started to really figure out what racism is and how to deal with it. Yes.
Well, you're confident, so you know how to deal with it.
Thank you.
I didn't know this conversation was going to go here. It was great. It's fantastic. So let's talk about stand-up comedy. What's a stand-up comedy thing?
So stand-up.
Yes, I love it.
I used to do stand-up.
What do you mean?
I retired, but I
This is great, because I'm going to tell you why. Because I do a look, I just did it in, where the hell was I? Anaheim or something.
Oh, you went to Ice House?
No, I went to Irvine.
Okay.
Whatever the
I know what you're talking about.
punchline, whatever.
Yeah.
And I do my own 45 minutes. I do
Oh,
45
you did?
minutes up there.
Oh my God.
On all General Hospital.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and with my anxiety.
Yeah.
But so tell me.
So I really, it was more of a thing that was like my old manager's idea. I always have been into just comedy in general. Like, I love making people laugh and smile, and I think that's just my strong suit.
Yeah.
But my manager was like, "You remind me of Whoopi Goldberg." And
That's right. Yeah, I read that.
They're like, "You remind me so much of Whoopi Goldberg. I think you should do stand-up." So I did my first stand-up at Flappers Comedy in Burbank. And
I know, yeah.
And I had probably like 60 people turn up for me for my first show, for my first time. And from there, it just kind of like.
And you keep doing it?
I kept doing it at the time.
Yeah.
At the last time I did stand up, I was probably like 17, but I kind of like retired from it, I say.
Oh, no.
Or just put it up. But that's just mostly because I think, I don't know, at stand up, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And it's a very, very rewarding job.
Yeah.
But the time that it takes to put into it, I'm like, you have to really get into a mental state.
And people are laughing and stuff.
Yeah, it's a great feeling once you're up on stage and you are doing it and you're like punching these jokes, and it's an automatic reward. You get an instant reward from it because all these people are laughing and clapping and cheering for you and stuff like that. And it felt good, and it really did boost up my ego.
Wow.
Or it made me feel more confident about myself.
But now, did you ever? Because man, you look. When I do it, these are my fans from GH.
Right.
So I don't care if I suck or whatever.
Right.
They laugh.
Right.
Hey, what the kid did in the street? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So it's easier, right? But you were up. You just going up there.
Yeah, these are just strangers.
Oh
like,
my
people,
goodness.
I mean, I definitely had my friends and family and stuff like that
of
as well.
course.
But, it was complete strangers. I didn't know them from Adam,
I give you so much credit.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, I swear to you.
That. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Because I could not do that.
I say or tell people they should at least try comedy once in their life, stand up.
Not in front of strangers, man.
Strangers, it can be difficult. But like, say if you have something like, the anxieties and might be struggling, I think it helps you with your confidence because it forces you to get out of your own mind because it's you have to be in your mind, but also you have to be out of it because you have to pay attention to the crowd, really. You got to fill out the room. Like if it goes dim or quiet.
Was there a show that did not go well?
Yeah. I had one show and I completely forgot everything. And it was... I forgot everything. But I went on stage and I was probably like 5 minutes in and then everything goes blank. Oh, and I'm like, so I can speak Russian. And I start speaking Russian.
Did they laugh?
I mean, they were flabbergasted because I was talking about one thing and then totally switched to Russian. And there so happened to be a Russian lady right in front of me. So we were like going back and forth. I was like, and she was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then I was trying to tell everybody, I was like, thank you guys for letting me mess up and like, forget my stuff. I'm Tabyana Ali. And there was one lady all the way in the back that was like, continue speaking Russian. Keep speaking Russian or whatever. And but I was so, I didn't know what to do. So I just ended it there and I just was like, I felt kind of defeated. And I came off the stage and I was trying to be confident. But as soon as I hit the back door, I was so upset. I accidentally crashed into one of the waitresses. And all of the food and water and whatever she had on her what is it called? Whatever.
A tray?
On her tray. It went everywhere, and I was running in the back of my room. It was like if you're watching Maury, you know how the camera guy is like falling right behind the person. It felt like one of those moments for me because I was like rushing to get back to the green room, and I was crying. My best friend came and tried to support me. The guy that I usually do who helps me with my stand-up came, and my mom, and like they're all telling me like it's okay. It's fine. We all have our mess ups. We all have our mistakes. And I was just like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah,
I can't.
but you saved it with the Russian.
I tried. I think more happened. I just can't remember what else. I think I tried to save it. But eventually, because that was the main stage, just like the one with 200 people that are usually sitting in there. So I felt like I didn't know what to do. And I was probably like 16 at the time. But there's another room. There's a smaller stage in the flappers. And I tried to redeem myself there. My mom was just like, listen, you got to just go back up there. You fell off this horse. Just try it again.
Good for Mom.
And you have another opportunity right here. Just go ahead and just do it. So I took off my heels and I took off my earrings and I put my hair up and I was just like, guys, I just messed up in that main room, but I'm here to make it up right here. So
you did the same day?
Same day, yeah. Same night. Probably like 30 minutes with.
Oh, you got a lot of confidence, man. Damn. The same day.
The same day, yeah.
And then you kick butt with the next one, or not?
Yeah, I went back probably like a year later, and I was like, this is my last show. And I tried to give it my complete all, and it turned out great.
Wow. Yeah, because I grew up big fan of Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Yes.
Richard Pryor. I was supposed to have Richard Pryor's son on State of Mind.
Really?
I still probably eventually will get him, but he could make. And now who makes me laugh? Eddie Murphy was also right.
Right.
But now who makes me laugh is Joy Coy. Joy Coy from Hawaii.
I think I know.
Oh my goodness! Because only certain people can make me laugh. Like I have to fall on the ground.
Right, yeah.
Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and Joy Coy is getting close.
Yeah.
But I love comedies.
Yeah, I do too. Comedy is it's hard. Like it's
very hard.
Because it's all about timing. And it's all about,
And relaxed. You have to be relaxed.
Yeah, because if you force anything, it's not going to be funny.
Yeah.
People don't like a person that's trying to be funny.
No, exactly.
So you always have to be relaxed. You got to read the room. You got to know who the people you got to know your audience as well, and who it's going towards. And there's a lot that goes into comedy. It's a hard craft to learn.
Yeah, because what I just did really was the best one I've done. But if I do that over there on where you did it, they're going to be like, what is he talking about? Jason, Carly, what?
Yeah.
Amnesia?
Yeah. It's like a direct, it's definitely depends on your audience.
So let's talk about any mental health.
Oh, yeah.
It is State of Mind.
It is State of Mind, Mr. Bernard, yeah. I definitely dealt with depression, anxiety, PTSD, mood swings, yeah. I'm
going to say this again. I'm going to say it right now, just because I felt it. Everybody loves her on GH, and that's cool. But how she is right here talking about this, and what she's probably going to talk about next, is so likable and valuable for especially the young girls out there. And I haven't even heard what she's going to say, but I can just tell you it is. Anyway, sorry.
Thank you. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like I struggled with depression most of my life.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's a surprise for most people because comedy and one thing that I had a teacher tell me, the happiest people are usually the saddest people behind closed doors.
That's true. Yeah.
And because of certain situations with family life, I always kind of struggled with just inner turmoil. And I could never figure out why, because I always felt very blessed. I felt like I had a lot of stuff to be grateful for, even if, there was things that was happening in my life that, was kind of destructive. I still felt like I had a lot to be grateful for. I had great siblings. I had a great mother. I had food, a house. I had this career. There was so much for me to be thankful for.
Was there a divorce?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a long.
And that was painful? Or not
it was painful to watch.
Right.
I always felt like it should have just happened sooner.
Oh.
But my mother is a mother of love, and she's a
I
mother.
met your mother. She's amazing. Go ahead.
Thank you. She is. She wants love. She wants family. She wants happiness, and she's a God-fearing woman, and she stands by her vows. So when she really said sickness and health and what is it? Marriage and whatever, whatever the vows are. She was like, I'm sticking with it. I'm trying to.
Right.
But I think it was a situation that I felt like for her sake, probably would have been better if we left. And for me, it was just,
did she stay in it because of you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
for
that's what
us,
happens.
and then for herself.
Yeah.
And she just loves love. She's a lover.
Yeah.
But for myself, it was an up and down thing of just depression. I could never feel like on the outside, I don't know how to explain it. It was hard. Because on the outside, I felt like I was visibly fine, but on the inside,
it's ugly, man.
It's hard. My mood swings would just like fluctuate all
Yeah.
the time. Like 1 minute I was perfectly fine, and then the next minute I just couldn't get a grasp on anything. And then if I was around too many people, it would hurt me. If I wasn't with anybody,
Yes.
if I was doing too much or doing too little, it just felt like it would fluctuate in my feelings and emotions and stuff like that. And then stuff from my past would haunt me, and I would feel like I could just be doing anything. I could be washing dishes, and I could be back to a moment that hurt me, and it would make me have anxiety. It would make me have panic attacks. It would make me feel.
But you're not bipolar.
No.
That's what I am.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, the anxiety and now the depression, it's so heavy, right? You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And no matter how much great is around, inside you feel terrible.
Yeah, there was moments where I felt completely nothing. And I don't want to, and that word I feel like is used lightly, like the feeling of nothing.
Yeah.
I felt the feeling of nothing.
Yeah.
And it just would be in my chest, and nothing felt like I could feel it. Feel
Yes.
the hole in my chest.
Nothing feels good
Nothing feels good. Yeah.
when you're depressed.
Yeah.
Nothing. Whatever the greatest feeling is, you don't feel it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that gets you real messed up because you're like, what am I, right?
Yeah. It was tough. But then at the same time, I would journal a lot.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
I don't. Go ahead.
But journaling is great.
I know.
But I look back at a lot of my writings or the poems that I've written, and even though I'm like, I feel all this pain, there's still like this bit of motivation that I have.
Yes.
And I was like, eventually I'm gonna get over it.
Yes.
Because I know this can't be my life forever.
No.
This can't be what I'm destined to be, just laying
No.
here in bed. And I can remember my mom being like, you can't lay in bed all day. You have to eat. You have to get up. You have to go outside.
Yes.
You have to do something. You got to pray.
Good mama.
You got to do something, you know? And I would just kind of lay there and I'd be like, I'm going to do it eventually. Like, I just need my time to feel
And
what
how
I'm
much
feeling.
time does it usually take for you?
Depends.
Yeah, no, it does.
I think the last time, I also want to preface this. I'm just now getting over this. It's this year, literally. I feel like it's the grace of God that I got this job. Or I'll say probably the July of last year and this year, where I'm like, all this pain and the fact that I couldn't let go of the past and the stuff that happened with my parents, stuff that happened with friends, stuff that happened just even by myself, because, you know, I kind of had to deal with some things on my own as well. But all of that is starting to just disappear. Like, I can't even feel it anymore. It's more of like wow, I feel like a completely different person.
Yes.
I feel like I've changed like 17 times this year. Wow. And each time I'm growing into the person that I saw myself becoming when I was depressed. And I could see this person so vividly in my head. And I'm like, she's waiting to come out. And the person that I was back then, I was like a bodyguard to that person.
Yes, yeah.
And I was just trying to shield myself from anything so that person wouldn't get tainted. And so eventually something just kind of clicked in my head where I was like, it's time to just let this go. you can't be here forever, especially if you want what you really want. And the dreams that you really want and the dreams that you see happening, you got to let go of the past. You got to let go of the things that aren't fulfilling you anymore. And so slowly but surely, it's like I'm able to breathe.
I'm speechless, and I don't get speechless. Just because you are saying a lot of what I talk about on State of Mind, you know, I mean, and I'm not going to go into the pandemic and what happened to me, and but the reality is, when you go through this stuff, what you've gone through, what I've gone through many times over, if you can work through it and get over it, you know what you find? Peace.
Yeah, you find a lot of peace.
And that peace, you can put that in a bottle and sell it for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah.
The difference between me now and me a couple of years ago, I've never felt peace inside until now. I've never, my whole life. I'm almost 60 years old. And I've never felt peace. Yeah. When you feel peace, you fly.
Yeah, you do. Content.
And that's what you're doing, and you figured it out at your age. Yeah. Took me a long time, but that's all right. You'll get there when you get there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me just take a sip. Because I'm like, this is amazing. This is okay. We're gonna end this with GH because I need to talk about GH because otherwise, why didn't you talk about Sprina?
Right. Let's talk about the Sprina.
You know, so 3 years ago you read for GH, didn't get the job, blah 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 blah, and then you came back 3 years later, and you got Trina.
Yeah, Trina. It's both times was Trina too.
Oh, both times was Trina.
Yeah, I think that's also the crazy part too. Again, thanks God. But because it was down to Sydney and I and probably like another girl for Trina, and then didn't get it. Obviously, Sydney took it and thrived with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, 3 years later, came back. Didn't know this time it was Trina. I was auditioning for like 2 other people and then didn't know until I got the script that it was for Trina. For me, that was such a big, like, moment.
Yeah.
I don't take it lightly at all.
No.
Because I remember before, like, going to my screen testing, I was crying for days. I was bawling my eyes out. And my mom's like, what is wrong? What girl?
With joy or scared?
I was, because I could feel change. Oh. I felt it in the air. I was like, this is, even, I didn't have a fear of like I wasn't going to get it. I think it was just like I could feel the change coming. And I was nervous about that because that means everything in my life is about to completely be different.
Yes.
Everything that I was comfortable with is about to be uncomfortable. Right. I'm gonna have to relearn new things. I'm gonna have to learn more things about myself, learn more things about this craft that I've been in for 13 years. Everything's going to be completely different. And I was excited about it, but also I was just like overwhelmed by it at the same time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also take the time to really thank Mr. Frank for seeing something in me. For seeing potential in me. I think he saw something, even currently, I think he sees something in me that I may not fully see in myself.
Yes.
And the push that he has been giving to me, I thank him so much because it's, again, only getting me to the place that I want to be.
You know, your first day, I was watching on TV with Frank, and I looked at Frank and I said, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I said, but I said, she's really good, Frank. And he was like, he doesn't say anything. He's
Thank you.
But it's a, you know, Nicholas is a very intense, works his butt off kind of actor. And you guys are just loved. And it kind of, I guess it kind of reminds me of when I first started with Sonny and Brenda, this was a long time ago.
Yeah, you know.
And it became this this thing. It doesn't happen often, so you should feel very lucky.
Thank you, I do.
And I'm happy, and you're happy, and we're all happy that you guys have become this thing.
Yeah.
Because I haven't. There's not a lot of you got young couples that hit like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been there 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel lucky to be in this position, especially for someone that looks like me.
Wow, there you go. Yeah.
That was also the
That's
thing.
also very cool too.
Yeah.
And Frank has been a big part of hiring a lot of African American actors. You know, there was a time, and I've said this before, there wasn't any.
Yeah.
And I even went one time, I know I may get in a little bit of trouble here, and said, well, everywhere I go, my biggest fans who come up to me are African American.
Yeah.
Why aren't they on the show?
Yeah.
I won't give you the answer because I don't want to get into it. But there only until Frank. It's fantastic. Family and you and this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and it's important. I think it's very important.
It is. It means a lot to a lot of little girls like me.
Yes.
It means the world. The amount of comments and the amount of support that I get from them. It's like, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you where you're going to get more comments than you've ever seen. State of Mind. I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to get bombarded. And mark my words, and I want you to text me or see me at work and say, Mr. Maurice, you were right.
Yeah. I know.
Because this channel is 99% love. That's what it is, 99% love. So and I can tell you from this interview, it's going to be outrageous.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to leave it at that because I don't need to. I usually end it on talking about, how great it was or whatever, but I think it's self-explanatory. But I do want to say again that, oh man, this is why I love State of Mind, is because I can just, there's a bunch of little girls out there It's all right. Anyway, listen, it was fantastic. We had a great time, and I'm glad you came in.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Benard. I appreciate you.
Thank you.